So today we'll be doing a rhetorical analysis of Cruel by indie rock artist St. Vincent, born Annie Clark, off of her 2011 album Strange Mercy.
Bodies, can't you see what everybody wants from you?
The first thing we see in the video is Annie falling down what appears to be a grave, wearing a yellow dress, singing, "Bodies, can't you see what everybody wants from you?" Who could she be referring to by calling them bodies? Is she talking to a literal group of bodies? Is she talking to people who are mostly acknowledged for their bodies and pointing out that objectification? Could she herself be objectifying them?
Forgive the kids, for they don't know how to live.
Lyrics we hear in this part say, "Forgive the kids, for they don't know how to live." She appears in the alcohol section of a gas station grocery. The section she is in symbolizes her freedom as an adult to make independent choices. She then turns around and sees a little girl in a wheelchair. We must then ask the question, is the little girl in a wheelchair for a reason? The little girl has a stuffed cat, and we'll see why that is important momentarily. Could she represent Annie in the past, judging her current life choices, or could she represent childhood itself?
Run the alleys, casually, cruel.
Next, we see that the little girl has company, possibly family members, who are trying to look casual while looking at Annie. During this time, we hear the lyrics, "Run the alleys, casually cruel." When she says run the alleys, could she be talking about the wild shenanigans that we as adolescents get into in our youth? Could casually cruel be referencing the manner in which the family looks at her? We then see that the little girl is gone, with only her stuffed cat in her place. We then see a very motherly but bored Annie, who appears to be brushing the hair of a child who was in the wheelchair. However, the girl is no longer in the wheelchair. Is this a flashback to a time before the girl was in the wheelchair? Is it foreshadowing events in the future? Did the girl really need the wheelchair at all? She's also putting peroxide on the hand of the child in the store and dancing with the father. Is this a previous husband, or is it foreshadowing a new life with the family from the gas station?
They could take or leave you, so
Continuing image of this video is how she is perpetually sinking into the ground. This might be foreshadowing a future event or a metaphor for how she's currently feeling.
they took you and they left you. How could maybe casually cry?
We then hear, "They could take or leave you, so they took you and they left you." Here we know that she's talking about how the audience she's speaking to is seen as cheap and disposable. Annie then tries to return the cat to the child and gets kidnapped by the family that was watching in the store. They cover her head with a sack and take her into the car. The kidnapping could be a symbol for an accidental pregnancy. She has been crippled with a child and has been forced into the lifestyle of a boring housewife. When she gets kidnapped, she stops sinking and is at the bottom of the grave. This symbolizes rock bottom, the absolute depth of her misery.
When she reaches the house, they put her in a dress and they take down her hair, showing that she is now being put into the mold of a mother and that she cannot be original anymore. The dress is very old-fashioned, and now, throughout the rest of the video, you see nothing more modern than the 1950s, when the image of the housewife was most prominent. We then hear one of the most important lines in the song, "Bodies, can't you see what everybody wants from you? If you could want that too, then you'll be happy." This gives us proof that her audience is women. She is speaking from the perspective of society, telling women that if they would also aspire to the societal expectation of motherhood, then they would be happy.
Now that we have more information, we can better understand what the imagery meant before. Annie by the alcohol symbolized her adulthood, independence, and the fact that she wasn't a mother. Forgive the kids for they don't know how to live, run the alleys casually cruel, could be commenting on how children don't know any better than to expect their mothers to move heaven and earth for them. When she sings, they could take or leave you, so they took you and they left you. Annie is talking about when women are objectified and made to seem like housekeepers. They become dehumanized and disposable after their uses ran out. Knowing that Annie Clark doesn't actually have any children, another possibility is that this could be recalling a time in which she dated a single father. When the family was sizing her up in the convenience store, it may have represented the father trying to find a woman who he could date to give the family a maternal figure. Annie and the stuffed cat may have symbolized her romanticizing the idea of being a mother and agreeing to be a stand-in mom for the family. And the kidnapping may have been a metaphor for Annie becoming much more involved with the family than she meant to at first. The look that the father gives the children when driving seems to be one saying, "Look at this girl, what a catch." And maybe the rest of the video shows the family trying to force Annie into the role of a mother.
Annie does a poor job as a homemaker, and the children are ungrateful, rejecting her hard work and shaming her. This shows how she is unready to be a good mother, and that she does not fit into the mold.
So they could see.
Annie does a poor job as a homemaker, as evidenced by the amount of dust on the furniture and how unappetizing her meal was. We also get a very strong visual rhetoric when we see Annie completing a puzzle with the family. She puts in a piece that is the same shape as the one that is supposed to fit, but doesn't fit quite right and isn't the right color. This symbolizes how Annie is not cut out for the role of a mother and shouldn't be expected to fit that role. However, we know that that piece has a place in the puzzle, and that there is a piece that fits where hers was, which is that Annie is not against women settling down and having a family, but acknowledges that she isn't one of the girls who should, and that her place is fit somewhere else in society. We hear the lines, "You're the one waving flares so they could see ya," and "They were the zephyr blowing past, blowing fastly so they can't see ya." Here she shows the plight of one who goes against the grain, and how people ignore what she says when she tries to change the mind of others. Now we see the full reality of Annie in her grave. It becomes fully apparent that the family has dug her grave and plans on burying her. The lines, "They could take or leave you, so they took you and they left you," are fulfilled here, as Annie was literally taken, and once she had lived her usefulness, is left to rot in a grave. But we then see more shots of Annie as a housewife, showing that there were more events led to her disposal. The kitchen started purposely making messes and annoying Annie, even holding her head down in a bathtub. These are the exact moments when it is clear to the family that Annie has outlived her usefulness. We also see hints that maybe she grew defiant and made her own messages to inconvenience the family that held her captive, her own casual cruelty to them. We finally see her burial, as Annie stands defiant to the end until she is buried alive. This could represent how, after they realized that she wasn't the right fit for the housewife they wanted, they disposed of her. Maybe the father ended his relationship with her because she didn't fit into the mold he had of what a woman should be. In the end, St. Vincent's video for Cruel showcases the casual cruelty society inflicts upon women. This is her standing up against sexist jokes about women in the kitchen, and the idea that it is selfish for a woman to focus on her career instead of becoming a mother and housewife. And it's also a really, really good song.